Hello, witches. Welcome to the live divination ceremony. I'm Ocean. I'll be your host today. And today at the Resource Center, it's actually very quiet. There's not a whole lot going on today. Definitely a good day to rest, a good day to relax, a good day to recuperate your spoons, it feels like. Yeah, around here, I'm mostly just organizing my routines. I'm mostly just working on creating space so that I can make my art. Remember yesterday, go make art. I'm very excited to see what we get today because it feels like we're kind of writing a story this weekend about our routines, and I'm here for it. Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you all in the comments. Yesterday, we had our Leo workshop, and that turned out amazing. We had such a great time talking about sovereignty and creativity and what it means to express yourself. And that was so much fun. Hi, Koopy. Good to see you. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Heather. Hi, Helvi and Crystal. I'm so glad to see you all. I love the comment section on our lives so much. Yeah. Let's see, making sure I have everything. It's really hard to like waste time. You'd think 5 minutes would be really easy to talk within, but it's not. There's just not a lot going on right now, too. It's interesting because even though we're in like the height of summer pretty much right now, I feel this sort of like lull. Not necessarily like, yeah, I'm not going to say what it's not. I'm going to say what it is. So it feels like this pulling back before launching forward. I don't know if you guys have heard Jean Marie talk about like the arrow of like feeling like the arrow being like pulled back. That's what I am feeling right now. Like everything is kind of like pulling back, about to like rush forward, very much like a tide. Because of course most of my intuition comes through ocean metaphors. Surprise, surprise. So, good morning. It's so good to see you all. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. It's been really nice being here on the live divinations with you guys. I have to say, I've been having a lot of fun doing these with you all. And it's very unfortunate why I have to, because, you know, we have some witches in recovery right now. Probably wasn't the best way to put that. We the witches at Weird Brook are just needing some rest. That's all. So you have me this weekend, and it's just been really exciting to be here. So I feel like I just want to go over yesterday's real quick, or kind of like what we've been talking about this weekend, just in case anybody needs to be caught up. Jen Marie's fine. They just need some rest. That's all. And luckily I can do this for them, so I was happy to step in. So on Friday, what's today? Sunday? Yeah, on Friday. So sorry. We had the Knight of Pentacles. And I actually didn't write down the shadow card. I don't remember the shadow card that day. I remember we were talking about our routines, and I can't remember what was holding us back. So then the next day, we were talking about the Ace of Cups, and that was like receiving, that was unblocking the creative flow, and in shadow was the Knight of Pentacles. And so we were asking, how can your routine support your creative flow rather than stifle it? Oh, is the Knight of Cups? Oh, was it really? Oh, let me put that down on my paper. That's right, because I said I got all 4 nights in like 24 hours. Yeah, that was really interesting. Yeah, because the day before I had gotten the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Wands in my reading the day before. So, yeah, that is really interesting that they kind of like reversed. It was like Cups was in shadow, and then all of a sudden Cups was highlighted. And the routine was in shadow. So I'm really, yeah. Thank you. I'm so excited to see what we draw today. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. I know I'm really excited to see how this comes up for me, and excited to see how it lands for you all. Yes, good morning, good morning. All the witches in the comments. Yay. I'm so happy to see you all. Look at my community. They're amazing. Our community. it's how do I say that? So, let me go ahead and put this on. Oops, this one. That way, if anybody pops in, they know what we're doing. And let's get started. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. All right. That's water, by the way, if anyone's curious. Let us get the candle. Okay. I think I have everything together, but we'll find out. Sure enough. Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together. I know. Yeah, that's me chugging my water, partying hard at 7 a.m. Let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together. And then we'll go ahead and get into our setting space. I humbly invite all that is fire within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is air within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. And I humbly invite all that is earth within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is water within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I beckon to this system. May we now align as one. For my cousins are the elements, and so the moon and sun. I call to those who love me. You are welcome in this space. For our nature is united, sharing magic, life, and grace. And now we're going to set our intention. Why did we call everyone here today? We do this as a call and repeat. If you'd like to repeat it, you can. If it gives you the ick to repeat it, you don't have to. If you choose to repeat it, I would recommend that you feel it in your body. When you say these words, where do you feel them in your body? I choose now in this moment to align with my whole self. to pull the book that tells my story from its place upon the shelf. I enter now this circle made of trust and hope and power. And I show up for my practice in this place and at this hour. Because I am home. All right. Go ahead and grab your oracle deck, your tarot deck. You can grab a nearby book and do bibliomancy. If you have a chaos deck, that's fun. Today I'm using the miniature territorial deck, so we're mostly just going on vibes. It's the iridescent one because I love rainbows. And rainbows are such a huge part of my magic as an artist, as a creative, and as somebody whose favorite color is genuinely rainbow, like in that order. No, I will not be giving context. I don't think there's any needed, to be honest. So, feeling into it. Of course, I just started shuffling. Where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion to our relationship with our life and our practice? Where does our relationship need to be? Where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion to our relationship with our life and our practice? Where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion to our relationship with our life and our practice? Okay, let's get into it. We have the Queen of Pentacles upright. I don't know how much it's going to actually adjust. But it's an earth, of course, because it's pentacles. The numbers are 13 and 4. 4 is structure. 13 is like transformation and rebirth. I'm going to let you guys brew on that for a minute, because I got real excited yesterday and forgot to do that. Oh, yes, I'm supposed to read it. The Queen of Pentacles is creature comforts, practicality, financial security, jealousy. The Queen of Pentacles reversed is jealousy, financial independence, self-care. Ooh, that's interesting. So again, we have the Queen of Pentacles upright is creature comforts, practicality, financial security. And the reversed is jealousy, financial independence, self-care. We read both, even though we pulled it in the upright position. We tend to read both because the card as itself is all related, but also because as somebody who recognizes that they are reading for a group of witches, it's going to land differently for everyone. For some of us, we're going to relate more to the reversed. For some of us, we're going to relate more to the upright. And it's actually how we communicate between our perceptions of the upright and the reversed that give us an understanding of our relationship with that card today. I hope that made sense. So I think you're done brewing, so I'm just going to jump into it. So we've been talking about our routines, and especially how we can create routines that genuinely support the creative pursuits that we have, that genuinely support our calling, not necessarily our career, right? There's this feeling of you're so comfortable that you can't see it. Well, maybe I'm getting too much in the shadow, but this to me is saying you're comfortable, that you've done a lot of work to make sure that you already have the financial security that you need, that your needs are met, and maybe your focus right now is on what else, like what else can I do? What else can I have? What would be more fun? What would make me more comfortable? Which I think is an exciting thing to think about. Practicality always gets me because, I think about how people are like, well, there's, the irrational emotional brain, and then there's the logical thinking brain. And it's like, emotions are actually super logical. Your feelings are information. They're actually usually very logical responses to situations that are pushing us to go further towards what we want. Like seeing rejection as a pathfinding tool. It can be really pokey, and I think of the reversed here too, like the jealousy, right? It can be really pokey. But when you engage with it in a way that that acknowledges how you're feeling without making decisions from an emotional place, you move further into alignment. Yeah, even if it hurts, right? Absolutely. Because that pain is a signal for you. That's information for you, and it's sacred. The pain is deeply sacred, and when you treat it like an inconvenience, when we talked about processing grief, like are you taking we talked about this yesterday in the live divination. Are you taking your grief and then going out and essentially, are you partying on your grief? Like, are you actually giving yourself space to feel it, or are you going out and letting grief kind of backseat drive, or even are you letting grief be in the driver's seat? Because in terms of driving, grief, I feel is somebody that, and this is just my current relationship with it, but grief and jealousy and pain, these difficult feelings to acknowledge and sit with, are almost even like milestones along the way, right? They're not necessarily like we pick them up and we drop them off places, and then we pick them up and we drop them off. And they're friends we keep encountering. They're not necessarily who we want to be driving or even like who we want to be road tripping with. They're connections that orbit. I call my friends, like my friendships, my friendship orbit. And that feels kind of relevant here, that like when I haven't seen someone for a while, I recognize that they're out of orbit and that eventually we will come back into a closer orbit together, but they might be just further out in their orbit. It doesn't necessarily mean we're disconnected. And there's, freedom and security are a really interesting axis to think about too. So when you think of comfort, when you think of financial security, are you believing that it looks a certain way? Like taking some time to brew on, what does financial security actually look like for me? What actually comforts me? Not necessarily saying that you have to make decisions from that place or anything like that, but definitely getting the information of, what does security mean to me in reality, instead of what do I think that it's supposed to look like in order to obtain a feeling I don't necessarily know quite yet, or I don't necessarily have access to, like being rich, right? Like being a billionaire. Some of us will never have access to what it feels like to be a billionaire, but that doesn't mean we're not rich. That doesn't mean that we don't have things that even a billionaire could never have. So I would, yeah. Yes, it's freedom to do what I want with my time. Yes, and we talked about that yesterday too. So when it comes to comfort, security, feeling grounded in your own definition of practicality, what is in shadow? What is in shadow that we may be in resistance to or in denial of, that is blocking our flow, that is not allowing us to engage or participate in a way that is aligned with the reality of our experience? And we have the Ace of Wands. I pulled it in reverse, but I'm showing it to you guys upright. The Ace of Wands reversed. Ooh, the light flare. That felt significant. Oh, the Page of Wands. Got some wands up in here. That is so, so brave. Thank you for sharing that, Brigadier. I appreciate you. So we have the Ace of Wands. I do get distracted easily by the comments. I just love the conversations that we have. So we drew it in reversed, so I'm going to read that first. Lack of energy, distraction, delay, resistant to change. That is so highlighted. Resistant to change. That is such a direct answer to our question, though, too. Like what might be What might be words? What we may be in resistance to or in denial of might be change. So that feels really highlighted. The upright is creation, willpower, desire, inspiration, and enterprise. Yeah, that fits so well. Let me put it up here for you guys. Gonna be the Ace of Wands reversed. I'll read it again too. So reversed, it's lack of energy, distraction, delay, resistant to change, creation, willpower, desire, inspiration, enterprise are the upright. And this is a fire card. It's ruled by the moon. I think the moon's in Virgo right now. I should really check that before I hop on here because I always want to know. Today, the moon is in Libra. So Libra is very relationship focused. It's focused on balance. It's focused on the balance of sincerity and perception feels like very Libra. The numerology is 1 and 10. It's the fire sign. So what's in shadow right now feels like movement. It's change. Change can mean so many different things. And we were literally talking yesterday about what is your relationship with the unknown? How do you approach the unknown? When that might have been in the workshop. I actually don't know if that was in the divination, but I had a conversation with witches yesterday about the unknown, wherever it may be, wherever it may have been. So it's really hard to say anything else because I feel like that sums it up so well. And I love what you put in the chat, Brigadier. They said, damn, so fitting. And this was even before I pulled the shadow card, I think. But it might not have been because I was not paying attention to that. But they said, damn, so fitting. I took a giant leap, put in 30-day notice, moving without a job or another place to move to, but I know I cannot stay in what I have been. How many of you are feeling that way? How many of you are feeling like, I'm done. I'm done with this unsustainable way of life that doesn't actually support what I want to be doing, and I know a better way to do it, and I'm about ready to flip the tables. I'm about ready to go around and start flipping tables left and right. How many of you are feeling that? Yeah, the arrow drawn back, right? We did a really amazing ritual at Weird Brick when I was there for the new moon. I believe it was the new moon. And during that ritual, we took blocks and we wrote down on them what was keeping us from community. And then we took them up to the meadow where there were tables set up. And we each stood by a table and we built up our blocks in very, just intuitive ways. they just told us, take the blocks and build something with it. Actually ended up building a house with like steps up to it, and the stairs felt really important to me. And we were looking at our blocks, and then Jen Marie had us put our hands on the table with the blocks. And as an energetically sensitive being, I'm like feeling into it. I'm feeling all the things. And then I think it was like over the table and then on the table. And then we put our hands under the table and we were paused there for a second. And is it really a finished song? That's so, I didn't know that. I freaking love Sandstorm. Like, what a bop. I didn't know it was a finished song. That's really cool, Helvi. Thanks for sharing that. And we put our hands under the table, and it genuinely didn't occur to me that we were flipping this table next. And so I'm sitting there and I'm giving all my support to this table energetically. I'm like, have my hands under it. I'm not necessarily lifting it up, but I am supporting it. Like, that's kind of what I was paying attention to. And then Jen Marie goes, and then flip the table. Now, like, flip it. And I remember just the shockwave going through my body of like, wait, what? And then I was like, all right. And I flipped it just as hard as I could. And we got to just walk away. That's when Sandstorm started playing, right? And she's like, all right, we're going to follow the music. And I'm telling you, I know I've said this before, but I'm telling you, randomly hearing Sandstorm blasting from like out of the like forest was like, whoa. It was just like surrounded. I mean, not surrounded, but all of a sudden there's this like loud music and you're just like, oh, I want to go find that. Like, it was really exciting. But my point of the story was that I had been giving this table my support, even though I didn't know what I was doing next. And it was so empowering. What are you supporting that you're ready to flip the table on? What are you supporting that you're ready to flip the table on? What are you supporting that you're ready to flip the table on? How much are you taking responsibility for that is not yours? That is what I would ask you today. That is, I feel like, a reading, because it will change things. When you stop supporting what is not yours, when you stop supporting systems that specifically marginalize you, it will change your entire life. This work that we do at Bright and Dark in foundations will change your entire life. And if you keep going into that, you might become an unstoppable, ungovernable witch. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do with that? If you could do anything, what would you do? If you could be exactly who you are and do exactly what that person wants to do, it would change your life. It would change your entire life. So if you feel like everything is changing, if you feel like that's all, we feel like the world is ending, but that is a transformation. Something dying isn't the end, right? There is an entire, yeah, I could ramble about death. We could do a whole divination about death, but death isn't always necessarily the ending. It's a transformation. And what remains after everything transforms will absolutely be 100% you. You do not need the whole map to understand where you're going next. You just have to be willing to go to the next logical place, the next practical place, right? That practicality in the Queen of Pentacles. What is actually practical for you, not what other people think are practical. I'm a huge fan of going to other people and gathering perspectives. But taking a moment to decide for yourself, what is the most practical next move for me? For me alone. And then you can check it, with the people who you affect, right, in your life, your family, your roommates, ask your dog about it, definitely. But what's best for you? And how much are you willing to invest in yourself? Because this reverse lack of energy, distraction, delay, resistant to change, to me, that's saying I'm not investing in myself. Yeah, my dog gets the final word too, Crystal. Yeah, I love verbally processing with other people. It helps a whole lot. But just remember that you know yourself best. You know yourself better than anybody else. And if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling distracted, if you're feeling like there's obstacle upon obstacle about where you're headed, what would be the easier path for you? But I asked something yesterday to the witches in the Leo workshop, and I really liked it. It was like, am I allowed to take up space exactly as I am? And what if it was easy? What if it could be easy? Because I have this theory, if you'll indulge me, that things feel hard right now because we're engaging in something that wasn't built for us. And my theory is that the feeling doesn't come first. It's not going to feel easy and then you do it. You're going to do what you know is right for you because you've sat and journaled about it, because you've pulled cards on it, because you've come to your community and verbally processed it. You've gone to your friends, you've asked your dog about it. And then you've gone back and you've journaled a second time after all the processing and come to some sort of crossroads of, I could continue doing this thing in this specific way that might support it, or I could completely upend my life like Brigadier is doing and see where it takes me. If I'm genuinely believing in the work that I'm doing, which for me, the work that I'm doing each month, when I'm thinking about manifestation, I'm thinking about what am I manifesting? Sorry, let me rephrase that. I think about how can I further manifest my alignment? Yep, when I'm in alignment, everything flows without resistance. Right, and it's not to say that things aren't hard, that there isn't pain, that there isn't grief. But I don't hold on to those things when I'm in that place. When I'm focused on alignment, I can see my challenges as happening for me, which is what we talk about in June. So going back to look at your journal prompt for last month could be really helpful for this too. And I feel like that's our divination. I feel really good about that. If you're ready to change your life, if you're ready to start participating in a way that puts your sovereignty first, that puts your authority back into your own hands, come join our app. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, that just feels so complete. So I guess my advice would be, remember to stay open to the possibilities that you can't imagine, because that's what change, that's what the unknown contains. And remember to take care of yourselves today, and, spend your spoons on you, go make art, all the things that I've said this weekend. Because tomorrow, tomorrow, when we come back to this divination ceremony, we're going to have, it feels like we're getting the final piece of this story that we're telling together through these divinations. Thank you guys so much for holding space for me as I'm doing this live divination. Your support means the world to me. And if you don't mind thumbs upping the live, that will help call more witches into the community so they can see this and interact with it. I just wanted to say that before we go too. So yeah, stay open, stay hydrated, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.